What we're going to do, Prince of Privacy, I want my privacy, is coming back here next week. We'll be thrilled to hear. And much of the coverage will be on GB News, no doubt. It's part of a case brought against the Mirror Group, which publishes newspapers such as The Mirror. Thanks, Cass. By over 100 people. He's being sued for phone hacking. He's suing for phone... Hang on a minute, let me go backwards. He's suing for phone hacking by investigators and journalists. This appearance coincides with an appeal in the US from conservative think tank, the Heritage Foundation, to see if the revelations of drug use in Harry's book, Spare, were included in his visa application. Now, we've all had a bit of the devil's lettuce, and it's never got in the way of me getting into America. If you don't know, the US takes immigration and visas very, very seriously. Paul, should Harry be allowed to go to America having tooted on the devil's lettuce?
Well, I'm told that he did declare it on his visa application as required by law, but there are some people in this country who I think have been advising the Heritage Foundation, which of course is very close to Donald Trump, to see if they can challenge it in court, and if he hasn't acknowledged it, he could potentially be expelled. But let's be honest about it. There are loads of actors and rock stars living in America who are Brits, in fact, who have a very long history of drug taking. So let's...
Don't know what you're talking about, mate. Don't know what you're talking about.
Well...
Listen, is Harry preparing... Do you think he's coming back to England because Chateau Le Markle might be about to close for business?
A lot of people are trying to suggest that. From what I've heard, I think that's a lot of speculation by people who know very little.
My news search algorithm on my phone just suggests it all day, every day.
All day, every day, because all you care about is Prince Harry and the details of his life, Lawrence. No, look, I mean, I personally think that actually it's none of the government's business what people do with their own bodies, and if they choose to, Prince Harry indeed has dabbled in said substances. I think that that's completely his personal choice. Of course, this is the way that all works, and unfortunately, he has to declare it. Whether or not he did, I'm not entirely sure. He claims that he did, but we'll see what the investigation says.
So is it just a witch hunt of Prince Harry? No, it's not. Is he a prince or is he a duke?
It would be incredibly ironic if he was deported from the US.
Yes, it won't happen.
So
I think this is the Heritage Foundation, not our own bit of a witch hunt, and encouraged by some people who would rather see Prince Harry in trouble.
But surely, if you're a genuine conservative, you want to consign him to a marriage to Meghan Markle for the rest of your life.
Well, that's your view, but in fact, Prince Harry, at the moment, doesn't seem to share that opinion. But look, this is going to be an extraordinary case. There are going to be media from all over the world descending on London for it. It's the first time a member of the royal family has been in the witness box since 1893, I think it was.
Wasn't he in the... I thought I saw him getting out of a cab the other day moaning about his phone.
No, he was an observer at a hearing, but it's the first time a member of the royal family... for almost 1893, I think it was, has been in the witness box.
Reem, do you think he will expand on his story about the frostbite?
I think he'll... I really hope not, because that honestly traumatised me.
Why?
Because I don't want to hear what he's been doing with his...
How would you know?
No, keep it inside. Be a man.
How would you know?
He should have kept it inside. He wouldn't have gotten the frostbite if that was the case. I'm, quite frankly, quite sick of hearing about Prince Harry in the news, to be honest. I'm so bored of it. I think him and Meghan Markle should go to the US, live their lives. They so-called want a private life, but we still hear about them in the media. And I honestly think they just are desperate to stay relevant.
What was interesting about that, and I know you are young, but in the research I was doing...
Paul. Not on my panel.
Yeah. Age just
but don't be age.
No, but the research I was doing for the book showed that, in fact, among under 30s, Prince Harry and Meghan have much more sympathy than with older generations and the mainstream media. They're the only royals they're really interested in.
But that's like saying I have more sympathy and compassion from my dogs.
There's also a correlation with the fact that most under 30s are left wing. I mean, in the UK.
Someone answer me this question. I'm interested. Why are under 30s left wing?
Young people seem to be they want to be more empathetic. They want to be seen as though they are being more empathetic. There's a lot of this, I think, think, social media outrage when it comes to being a social justice warrior, and that then correlates to them thinking on the economics that socialism is the right way forward. I think I'm sort of hoping to be an example of the fact that, no, you can be an individualist, you can be a libertarian, a conservative, and be young. I'm 20, and I think that it's really important that we have those conversations. But unfortunately, in the UK at least, I'm in the minority, and there is a huge gap there. I think there is a correlation there with a lot of these leftist, empathetic, I want to share my truth types that tend to be young and tend to have more sympathy for people.
But why is he bothered? This guy who's got a $10 million mansion in Montecito, world's hottest person of colour.
That's an interesting point.
So no one cares. Why has he bothered? Even bothered?
Look,
to take please, can I ask a question? Reem might have a good point here. Why is he even bothered? Why can't he just sit at home and write a spare two?
Look,
time it fell off.
I'm no cheerleader for Harry and Meghan because there's a lot of hypocrisy involved, but he, rightly or wrongly, he believes it's on a crusade against media intrusion and media law-breaking. Some would say it's a sort of rather morbid obsession. But this is going to get huge coverage. And what he wants, in a sense...
He wants huge coverage.
This is why he hasn't accepted settling out of court, as most people have, in the £1.5 billion that's been paid off by various newspapers over hacking. But he wants his time in court, because he wants to damage, as he sees it, transgression newspapers. He also wants... to embarrass various people like Piers Morgan as he sees it.
But isn't that reflective of someone who's not healthy in the mind? So you've got a great life. You've got a really great life, and for some reason you fixated on an injustice. And I totally get this because I have it in my own life as well. But is it not absolutely emblematic of somebody who is deeply unhappy and who wants to see justice done? I'm going to ask Reem. Who wants to see justice done for no apparent reason? It
clearly appears as though, and this is where I do actually quite, feel sorry for him in this sense. I do think he's mentally ill. I think he's.
Calm down. Harry's not here to defend himself. He's not mentally ill. We must move on.
He's mentally ill.
Everyone's mentally ill, Reem.
He's mentally ill.
You're the most mentally ill. You're mentally ill.
I'm very mentally ill. He's very deeply depressed and very sad.
You're not a psychologist. You mustn't say that.
Look at. Have you read Spare?
Shush, everybody, please.